A solid layer is a 2D block used in After Effects. It has basic transform properties such as opacity, position, scale and rotation. Solid layers are often used as backgrounds but can be used as a separate layer to generate effects, used for transitions or simply used as a shape. In this short video we'll use a solid layer to create a background. Throughout the remainder of the course you'll learn various additional ways that we can use a solid layer.
Alright guys, welcome back, and this lesson is going to be a bit more fun. We can actually put some colour into the composition and make things look a bit nicer. So I thought the best way to start this is maybe make a background, because I do make backgrounds quite a lot, and I think that's probably the most commonly used stuff. Ultimately we want to get to the end goal, which is making the videos that we've advertised this with. So I'm not going to go over anything we don't need, and I'll just take you straight there with the things we do need. So this is pretty essential, being able to use solid layers. So I'll just delete what we have in here. Make sure that we've saved our project as well, so that autosave saves us, and that we've got autosave on. Edit preferences autosave, just in case if you are working alongside me. But again, you can just watch. It's not going to be a long video. So to make a solid, we go to layer, new, and then solid up here, and we can name the solid if we like. We can change the height and width and everything like that. By default that's going to be the comp size, but if you've moved it and you want it back, you just hit make comp size. Then you can click the color palette down here and you can choose the tone and then scroll through the hues if you want. So I'm just going to go up and just make like a red background here, and it'll give you the color name as well. You could rename this to background then if you want at the top. Totally up to you how you do that, but that's pretty much how you make the solid there. And then when you press OK, you can see the solid layer has appeared in your timeline. So if you want to select the solid, you can click here and it will select the solid. If you press V when you're selected to make sure you're on the selection tool up here, you can then drag the solid round, press Ctrl and Z to go back. You can make the solid bigger or smaller, but we're making a background today, so we don't really need to do any of those things. So if we go up to effects and vignettes up here, effects and presets, sorry, and then type VIGNETTE, you can see we've got CC vignette, and if we drag this, you can see we can drag it directly onto the layer, or we can drag it onto the background, directly on the background layer, or into the composition. Obviously if we have more things in the composition, it's not going to land on the solid. So best practice, let's just drag the effect onto the layer, and you can see how we've got a nice little vignette for our background here. So if we go up to the top left now, you can see in the effects controls, which should have popped up in the top left. So in your project file we've got effects controls here, so you can turn up the amount of the vignette by just dragging the number, and you do this for pretty much adjusting anything in After Effects. So we can make it like a little bit darker like that if we wanted to, and then the angle of view is like how narrow or wide the angle is, so we could bring it in, make it a bit narrower if we want. And then the center is just, you know, the center of the vignette if we wanted to move it off the side, but you know, we don't really want to do that for this example, although you know a lot of people do animate backgrounds kind of like here. Maybe you want it like that. I'm just going to actually, yeah, why not, let's bring this up to the middle, and maybe we can change the amount a little bit, and then the angle of view, and bring that out a little bit. So yeah, we've got some sort of light effect by here, and that's it. We've created a background. So if we want to lock this layer, we can go back down here like we said in the earlier video, lock this layer, and now we can't drag our background around. It's really easy. So the next thing that we could do with a solid layer, we can actually use this as an overlay. So you can see down here there's if this mode isn't showing, you can press this little switch in the corner and expand it, and then you can see you've got the blending modes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag a piece of footage into the composition just quickly, just a random piece of footage. So I've just dragged a woman smiling in here. Literally I've just picked something from my library of videos, so I can just drag this below. And at the moment the the solid's not showing through. But obviously if we change the blending mode up here, we can go through these. I know multiply will have an effect. You can see that we can use the solid to actually create an effect over the video. And what you can actually do here as well, you can press shift and then use the plus and minus keys to go through the blending modes quite easily. I mean, look at that, you can get some really cool results. So it's always worth just, you know, going through these things and seeing which ones you like. The soft light, pin light looks pretty cool. We'll bring the transparency down a bit on that. You can get some really cool effects, and just scroll through and just see what works for you, and we can just get some amazing effects. So you could effectively, you know, you can really change how you do things. You could make your solid, and you could add a vignette or any layer really. It doesn't have to be a solid. You can use as an overlay or as with a blending mode to just affect the picture below. But yeah, so as you can see, like, you can get some really cool effects here for your videos. So yeah, I like to use solids a lot for that. If you want to make this even a bit crazier, what we can do is we could add a gradient to the solid. We can go and type gradient, and then you've got gradient ramp and 4-color gradient. And if we add a gradient, it basically, you could do this with an adjustment layer as well. You can click these little buttons at the top to select the points of the gradient and drag them around, and then you can actually change the colors as well. So you can get some pretty cool effects like this as well. So if we go start of color and like we make it maybe this red, and then end of color, and then we make it like maybe like a lighter red, you know, obviously this isn't exactly what I would do, but just for example, we can go through then and just show you how you can really start changing things about. And with gradients, and then the same thing with a 4-color gradient, we can delete this gradient ramp here, and we can drag a 4-color gradient ramp on. Let's just go back to normal blending mode, 4-color gradient ramp, and whenever you see these little points, if we click the layer here, whenever you see these little cursors, it's so that you can move the gradient center. It's the anchor point of the gradient, so you could make some really crazy looking like gradient like this. Let's just go back here and just add a few different splashes in, and then you can just go and change these colors to get them all looking nice. So we could get like a dark pink there, but then have the green to be like a lighter pink, and then the purple, change that, and maybe just have the blue a bit lighter or whatever, and then you can move that dark pink out the way. And you could even animate these, but it really gives you like a lot of flexibility over how you want to play with these overlays. And then again, you can just go through the blending modes, and it's just going to be applied to everything below. So like these solids are really quite cool like that. Yeah, so that's it pretty much. You can actually use solids to generate effects as well. So if I delete that and just go layer new solid, it could be any color, but I know one that we'll be using later is fractal noise. So I'm going to go up to effects and type fractal noise and just drag this onto the solid, and you can see it turns it into this thing. This will obviously just look completely crazy to you at the moment, but you can use this for so many things, and we can adjust it a lot. We'll be using it to make a glitch later. And then finally, you know, you could there's much more convenient ways of making transitions and stuff, and I've got a few plugins. I use Motion Bro. I can leave a link to that. They've got some free transitions, and also and it really is, it's just a plugin that goes into After Effects, and you can just drag amazing transitions on, and it just makes it like way easy. But if I just put a solid in here, we can actually use this. I won't go into keyframes and confusing things like that at the moment. We're going to get into that pretty soon, but you can ultimately make this come across and then make it disappear off the screen to reveal something new, you know, when we animate it. So you can use solids as transitions as well. We might have a little go at that later, but otherwise Yep, so like solids mainly used for creating backgrounds. That sometimes as well, if I want white text to stand out, I might just make a black solid like this. Put it over and then just press T to bring down the opacity on the solid, and then just bring the opacity down a little bit. And then if I've got text in the middle like this, I'm going to go to a line up here. You'll see me doing that a lot. Then it kind of stands out, whereas if this was just at 0, it's a bit washed out. But you put a little black solid behind, it can sometimes give you a really nice kind of overlay so that you can see the text as well. So we'll probably do a bit of that later on as well. But that's pretty much it for sort of solids, gradients and blending modes. Hope you found this useful. You can always come back to this video later on, and you don't have to know everything now. These are just little stepping stones so that when we get to making our videos, you can always just come back here and you're going to find the information pretty quickly. So let me know, give me feedback on how you think about how we're going about this, and how you think of the course so far, feedback of the group. If you need any help with anything, don't be afraid to just shout out or give me a message. So thanks a lot. I think that's it for now, and I will see you in the next video.